stellar guy. He knows what he's doing. He's partnered right, and more power to him. He's got balls. Step up in the platform of a $30 cigar.
Yep.
That's stepping up. We'll see. Which pivots. You were just in Vegas. I know we were in Vegas, it feels like about a month ago.
That's 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Now we're rocking and rolling. You're back in Vegas. It's 4,000 degrees.
Yeah.
What is, in 30 seconds, what's your major takeaway?
That nobody wanted to be there. They were, there was a trade show that's a little bit smaller called TPE that's typically real early. And then later in the year comes PCA. Now all of a sudden, because of COVID, they get squashed together. I think 45, 60 days apart. And the cigar business right now is booming. But the cigar manufacturers, they're struggling right now to get tobacco. They're struggling right now to get boxes. They're struggling for wrapper. They're struggling for a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of them didn't want to really be sitting face to face with a lot of retailers. The good news was they didn't have to. Mm-hmm. They said there were 400 retailers there. I think there were 400 guys that had retail tags.
Mm-hmm. And this is over a million square foot.
Well, that was cut in half. And you could have had a 7-on-7 football game being played within 3 spots within the show floor. Some manufacturers, it was embarrassing, the effort that they put in to display their product.
What is happening here in the comments section already?
I'm not sure.
That's super quick. All right, Trader, no need to do the ball count, okay? Because that's 3 if you're counting, which obviously you are. And Larry Adams and Julie, good evening.
Yep.
Good evening.
So, the effort that the manufacturers put into displaying at the show was very disappointing. Some guys just, if you're not going to make an effort, just don't even go. Just no show. Mm-hmm. But to take basically a Costco folding table and not even put
table
cover on it and cover it with cigars and have a pull up that says your brand.
And this is in a 20 by 40?
This was Caldwell. I mean, normally they have a really cool booth.
Wow.
I had to walk over just to see what it was because I couldn't believe that until I walked past Ashton. Huge company. Ashton is massive. They had this one big banner and 6 tables and no product. Not one display of product. They just let the venue put 6 tables in their booth, charge them probably $5,000, and they set up a backdrop and they just sat there and had meetings. The big major guys, Drew Estates, General, Altonus, Davidoff, none of those guys were there. But what that did do for lines like Crux, for lines like the Bocock brothers, Jake Wyatt, and those guys, they were just swallowed up. I mean, they were busy. Crown Heads, packed. Placencia, packed.
I think it's a change.
It drew a lot of attention to some brands that never got the attention because they were all being busy at writing their Monte Cristo orders and their Rocky orders.
Yeah.
So it was from that standpoint, it was very interesting.
I tell you what, we're really starting to see this changing of the guard. And I think in a number of years, we're going to be like the guys who found that favorite band before they got big.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people who rode this along with us and went, I was there before anyone knew that.
Right.
Who the fucking Bocock brothers?
Right.
We're the first one in Dallas with it. I think I'm seeing it. What do you see?
I mean, I was, as Dave was talking about that, thinking about it, I mean, and I'm going to go back to Crux just because Crux is one of the ones that I've been sending to one of my buddies out in South Carolina for a while, and finally got him in touch with Casey, who finally got a couple of the owners of the shops, and now they're starting to carry it now. So now I'm not having to ship it, he's getting it straight there. Nice. And if you look on this page too, even on Cigar Newbies, I'm seeing people in different states with Crux cigars even. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that the big guys didn't show up, and people like Crux and the Jake Wyatts and the smaller guys are getting all this attention, I think the big guys are asleep at the wheel, and they're going to end up regretting stuff like that.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
I think that I asked Jeff yesterday, Jeff Hogan, who's the owner of Crux, I asked him yesterday before we left, so what's been the real positive takeaway from the show, because they were busy all the time. And the thing that he was really taking pride in, you could tell it was almost like an I told you so moment, but he wasn't saying I told you so. But the guys, the retailers that left Crux because of the old branding, it wasn't selling through, all those things, came back, and their attitude when they saw the new, now that they've seen the new packaging and they're starting to see it get out into the marketplace, he said they're not coming back in and dipping their toe in. They're coming back in and they are all in. So all these guys that jumped ship, they saw what you did, which is something I took great pride in as a father, to watch how you and Gabe and your team at Go Local did with that product. It's also interesting when I go to other brands and we'll actually talk about the packaging. And I'll say something like, my son actually did the Crux brand, and all the manufacturers, they're very well aware of what is happening with Crux right now.
Well, and I think what you see, Sean Ratz is coming in, and for those of you who have questions about cigars, please feel free to toss them in. But Ratz said a very valid point, which is, it's great for the companies who we've loved to grow. They continue to grow. Hopefully it doesn't detract from the quality as they grow. The cool thing of what I see, and I can see this from a few different manufacturers, is they're partnering from the beginning with people that they can grow with, who will continuously have this tobacco, and who are the farmers, and who are ultimately rolling the processes. And they know they're growing because of consistency and quality. They're not growing because the industry is booming. They are, but if you look at guys like Fuentes, who came out with the Fumas 100 years ago, and these guys who just grew because the industry boomed, well, they didn't grow because the big guys were there. The big guys weren't there yet.
Right.
So now the big guys are there, and these small guys are created. And as you see this fundamental swing of things, I don't think they're going to lose it. Where I think we're going to see a lot of loss and fall off are these new lines of cigars who are coming in just throwing cash. They just throw cash like it's nothing. They go, well, they're going to believe it because it's nice.
Yeah.
El Septimo is one of them. Their cheapest cigar is $70.
It was, they had a huge booth and everybody's dressed to the nines. It's called El Septimo. I've smoked a couple of them.
You know who their vice president is? It's the guy who was with Crux for 4 days.
That guy.
He was with Urca, General, and maybe S.T. DuPont, something like that. But he's like a suit, everyone, boom, spend money, do the system, it will grow.
Yeah.
But no one stops with
You
this big one.
You still got to make a good cigar.
Yeah.
When's the last time you guys ever smoked a McAuliffe cigar?
Since we had them on day one, and
When's the last time you thought about McAuliffe cigars?
Not until you just mentioned it now.
And that guy spent more. He spent more money in 1 year than Crux has spent in its history as a company.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And where is it? Because the cigars didn't stack up.
Yeah.
What was interesting as a conversation, hopefully I'm not stepping out of bounds, but a conversation that Jeff and I had while he was at the show, he made sure that he sat down with Nestor Plasencia, and then AJ is doing a couple of cigars for him, AJ Fernandez, and he sat down with both of them and reminded them how important maintaining their level of quality is moving forward. So, I think that it's good to have to remind your vendors, but for those that are getting in the cigar business, you're really, in the end, you're dealing with third world countries, and quality, it's real easy for it to slip, and they really don't care. So you just got to keep your foot on their
Well, look at it this way. Any restaurant chain they have 16-year-olds that are running it. They don't care. Now, those 16-year-olds are still making $8, $10 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
What if they made $7 a day?
Yeah.
You think they're actually going to give a shit about your brand?
Yeah, okay.
Quality. Unless you're there.
And threaten them to lose their $7 a day job. Otherwise, that's how the whole countries work. But I think that I'm excited. I was very excited to see how excited the Bocock brothers were. Got a chance to spend some time with Ken Hamlin. The Arrival Cigars, we'll be bringing those in shortly. I'm just excited to watch those guys start this journey, and I'm excited to be part of that. And the moral of the story is build a great product. If it's a great product, and we put it on the floor, we believe in it, it's going to sell. It's going to work.
Yeah. No, I was just back to Sean's thing about, just hope the quality doesn't go away as they start to grow. And that was one of the things that I enjoyed when I had the conversation with Bryant and Doug, the Bocock brothers. Bryant is down there in the factory at least half the year, right? Always checking on and making sure the quality. And even in the university video you did, he was very specific and made sure to mention the head rollers by name and some of the guys in the factory, because he wanted them to see that their names were known and attached to those cigars, and the importance of the quality of it. And they even talked, look, we don't want to be this big, huge, massive company. We want to provide good quality cigars for our business partners and grow at a time where we can continue to provide good quality product and keep them in stock. So I think they have a good plan, and want to keep that quality there. So I really enjoyed that conversation with them. I think they're definitely heading in the right direction. Like Pop said, excited to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
Mark Myers asking if I tried the 4 new Rocky sticks. The answer to that question is no.
It brings up a good point, because if you want to talk about just lasting impact, first impressions are eternal. And our first impression at the factory floor was having a conversation with, and I've spoken about it before, with the bander. And when I was in the middle of the conversation, the floor manager snapped, pointed, and she broke off her conversation to be right there and back to where it was. Get back to work. No music, no air conditioning, very messy. The whole experience.
And like you said, Spanish, so you know what they were saying when they weren't allowed to look up. They weren't allowed to engage versus Hoya de Nicaragua, and some of those Plasencia, where everybody was engaged, and Rocky was the opposite of that.
And with that, I've truly been, and maybe he's changed, maybe it was an anomaly, maybe it was a dickhead, I don't know, but to me, that scarred me on that brand for forever.
Well, the rep has never walked in our door, and I told that to Jeff, and Jeff was like, well, let's go over and we'll go meet with Rocky right now, and you'll have the line in 15 seconds. I go, I don't think I want the line. I mean, I know I
We're doing fine without the line.
We're doing fine. So, what Dallas doesn't need is another Rocky dealer. There's already 68, so he's going to make it.
Well, and Doug's got a good palate, and he just said, I tried a new Rocky, not bad. It was free, but I wouldn't have purchased it. But not sure I would have purchased it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I tried that one. What was it called? The number 6 when we went to Florida.
Yeah,
and that was tough.
I smoked the number 6, and then I think it's called like the 22 when I was in Mexico. It just isn't there. You get so spoiled with Principal and Bandolero and all this.
It's like any new cigar. You can compare it to what you already know, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to pay this much for this cigar. No, I'd rather go do something I already know that I like and spend my money there.
Which goes to this. And in an honest, fair assessment, you want to try this?
Yeah.
In an honest, fair assessment, I'm smoking a Bandolero, tremendous, and it's about 13, 14. It's less than half the price of that, and this thing kicks that thing's ass.
Yeah,
it kicks its ass. I vote no on that. Mark Meyer, I'm with you there. Not a Rocky fan, just hoping something better was coming. Look, at the end, it's a trade show, so something new is going to continuously come. But a lot of these guys have kind of figured out where they want to go.
It's a good stick, but it's not a $35 stick.
Yeah, there's no elements of depth to it, in my opinion.
There's no complexity to it.
I don't know.
It's just old tobacco.
And that's the thing, is it may be old, but then that's where...
Has it gone over its peak and on the...
Well, that's post-roll aging is where it starts really flattening out, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't just take old tobacco. Like, for instance, the Partagas 150s and 160s are still stellar cigars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was rolled in 1995 and 2005.
When you say old tobacco, are you saying this is aged?
Aged tobacco.
Yeah.
Very aged tobacco.
So, and I don't know the age, I don't know if this is 8-year-old or 10-year-old tobacco, but I was looking at the foot and I was looking at the cap, and I don't see any Ligero in it. One of the things that Nelson does with the Bandolero is he throws some Peruvian tobacco in it. He does stuff to kind of create that complexity, even though you're dealing with, in the case of the Bandolero, 4-year-old tobacco.
Yep.
So, he does some stuff in order to add that spice, not necessarily spice, but that
The spice,
emphasis,
yeah.
Whereas this, I could see where somebody that smokes a Amani No. 2 or, a traditional Cuban would smoke this and go, I get it.
But I'm still going to give them a Byron. I'm still going to give them a Bandolero. Would you rather smoke 2 Bandoleros or one of those?
Oh, that's not close.
And you still have change left.
Yeah, I go off one of those in the vault. One of the vintage Aldinos.
At $6. And look, I want to say that. Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's just
we just have to say it for real. Like Anil, we love your product and we love what you do, but in my opinion, I'm with you. I would smoke that $6 to $10.
Well, here's the thing. I would smoke his Black Label over this, which is sub 10, and I love that cigar.
Well,
$15 on the Orchid.
The Orchid.
Love that
The
cigar.
complexity.
It's one of the best cigars in the humidor.
Yes.
and that one's got so much complexity to it.
It does. It does.
Bro, what this tells me is this industry is growing, and it's growing to the point of comfort. And what I mean when I say that is, it's going, and then about 2 months before the trade show, now the bloggers are going, what do you have new? What do you have new? And you have to stay relevant. So you go, I'm releasing a $30 cigar. A 30? But the most expensive thing you have is $15. Nope, it's going to be 30. And they'll post about it, but that doesn't have $30 worth of effort put into it, in my opinion. It might have the dollars in the tobacco that he's bought, but But
this is the, as Doug puts it, the blueberry torpedo, which I'm smoking.
he actually calls it the 4-anus blueberry. Because it says 4 años, so he says 4-anus blueberry. Sorry, Julie.
There's no blueberry.
No, not in the torpedo.
Not in the Vincianos.
No, it's a different blend.
The Epic. Gets
The
it.
Epic one, but the Venecianos doesn't. That's from a different blend. So,
We got some Epics today, but I have a feeling they're gone right now. Right, Johnny Goodner? There were a number of new things at the show that I was very excited about. There's some new product that's coming out. There's a lot of limited edition stuff.
let me ask you.
What's up, Jeremy?
How expensive? What up, Jeremy? What's up, dog? How expensive is that lighter? That ST DuPont? We're gonna post a photo about this. It's a Moon Rover.
Elliot showed me. I didn't ask that question because I knew
It's the original lunar lander that landed with the first moon mission. It has this very, very cool lighter that sits in that as a stand.
Yeah.
It actually has a flip-up satellite dish. It has a 3-dimensional globe, and this acrylic paint that they used is like 13 layers deep. The lighter by itself is $3,500. It's $5,200 in the stand.
But you gotta get a stand at that
You gotta
point.
get the stand. It's very, very exclusive. And if you bought the $5,000 pen that matches it, along with the cufflinks that are 2 little moon men, the box that it comes in would be one of the most gorgeous humidors you've ever seen.
Oh wow!
All acrylic with that same. It looks like the solar system. All these stars on the deal. It's unreal.
Imagine that. Johnny Goodner, I think he's ready to step up to a $5,200 lighter.
It's Yeah, it is. This thing is incredible. I took some pictures of it, and we can post that stuff up.
And Dave Wagner says cheaper than I would have thought. I agree, because at one point we had a $60,000 ST to pawn.
That's it.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
How badass is that?
I mean,
how badass. Oh, and it's a rocket. The pen is a rocket.
The pen is a rocket.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's the little Moonman cufflinks.
So when he was showing me this, I was like, it just really makes sense because the Virgin Atlantic, right, just went to the moon.
Yeah.
Bezos goes sometime this week, and if not next.
Right.
And it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, no, that was very, very cool. There were a couple other lighters that they had that were really cool. So, I mean, you can geek out on that stuff. Brizard showed me some new colors that were really, some Havana Travelers that were really cool. Showed me one for women that he's going to do for our Lynx girls. That's badass. And then you know the black, remember the black humidor that we got? That was that black walnut.
Ooh, yeah.
He now has that, so he can make it any color. And he had one that was Husker red.
Hell yes.
It was gorgeous. So,
amen.
so that was exciting.
Not happening, Johnny Goodner. Not spending
But
$5,200.
does he have an Aggie Maroon?
They do.
But they got a Husker red. Why would you want Aggie Maroon if you could go with Husker red?
I mean,
Well,
what?
he's an Aggie. I mean, I'm just saying.
special needs.
Chris, so glad you could join us.
Yeah, thanks.
That's it. Did I?
You're a dynamo.
So Vegas was good. You guys went out. Didn't eat too much. Didn't gummies.
No, I just think that
But
there were some cool things.
You did learn something, which I think is of value here from a Illusione when it comes to the cannabis world, when it comes to the legalization world.
Yeah.
There's something that we wouldn't expect that is putting our industry really.
It puts it at risk. The VP of Illusione told me that, you know, we're hearing about wrapper shortage, we're hearing about filler shortage, we're hearing about all of this stuff, and part of the root of that problem is the weed guys are going to the Dominican and Nicaragua, and they're buying wrapper and filler to make blunts, and they are paying cash, and they're paying more than the cigar industry will pay.
Okay.
A lot more. So I'm picturing the suitcases of cash,
Yeah,
and they're literally going into farmers and going, I'll just take it all.
Yeah.
And they're buying it all. And they don't care if it's aged, they don't care about shit.
No.
Because they're going to pack it with weed and then off they go. So that's going to be an issue. I talked to Jeff with Crux about that. He said that he saw that coming a couple years ago, and that's why they started buying, like the leaf that's on the Limitada, just started buying it all.
In Epicure.
And
Like
just
in
started
containers.
And
Just picture that.
buy
Picture how much tobacco you can get in a container. Imagine that. And that's what Crux is able to do. So, Sean, to your concern, it's a concern of the real manufacturers. That's why they're buying everything.
Well,
and real money is spending it on product, not on branding.
He said Jeff was telling me that on quality wrapper that they were buying for, you know, finished harvested out. Once they get their yield out, they identify what the wrapper is, which is going to work for wrapper, which is going to work for binder. The good quality wrapper has gone from $38 a pound to $58 a pound.
Yes.
So we're going to start. I mean, we see price increases. You know,
Not like
God bless. For the first time since Adam and Byron has been in business, they just raised the prices, and it was nominal, but they raised their prices. Principal raised their prices for the first time since 2013. Davidoff and these other brands, we get a notification of a price increase about every 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always creeping up.
And with that, I think it's important. If you really if you're hooked on a couple of cigars, it would be smart this isn't good business, but it would be smart to grab a couple.
Yeah.
Grab an extra couple, so that way in a year from now, when the shortage is really hitting the market front, those cigars that you're loving right now are just naturally going to go up because of supply and demand. And we're going to start seeing that, I think, pick itself up.
Yeah.
But if I go buy a couple boxes now, and am I taking them off the market and just driving that price up sooner?
It very well could. However,
I understand where you're coming from, but it's kind of a delicate balance, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not good globally.
Don't tell
for
everyone.
You, for you by
just
yourself.
for you guys here, but don't tell
you
anyone
watching.
else.
Yes, go ahead and do that. Here's something that's interesting to take a side pivot here. Are you guys paying attention to what's happening in Cuba?
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing
They're
this?
trying to get freedom, aren't they?
They're fighting for freedom.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I don't mean to toss this out there because I'm not super educated, but I'd like to see what your thoughts are on what's happening here.
I just, what I hope is that when you talk to people that come from Cuba, I had a long conversation with a manufacturer that came over from Cuba to hear some of the crazy laws that they have. The one that's the scariest is if you look like you would create, or if you look like you would commit a crime, they can throw you in prison for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I saw a deal today where they're going Cuba today and watching people get the police pulling people out of factories and beating them and all the other stuff. So I'm concerned what the ultimate death toll may be.
Mm-hmm.
The way, because if it starts getting to where they're losing traction, I'll tell you what, there was this young gal, this young Cuban gal that was dressed. She almost looked like she would have came to a party as a stripper, as a cop. Really tight outfit and stuff. So Oliver walks up to her and goes, "Hey, can I get a picture of you?" She goes, "Keep walking." Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was just like, you were probably a minute away from getting thrown in that car, and we wouldn't see you again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, and that was when Cuba was open when I was there. Not now.
That's what I was going to say. When we were there, it was a couple of our tour guides that gave us, we did, rum pairings and stuff like that, but they would only talk about Cuban cigars. They didn't talk about any other cigars. Now, we had a couple of other cigars with us, and one of the guides was willing to try one. And at one point, he sat down and let us talk to the rest of the group about other cigars, because he was like, "You guys know more about cigars than I do." When we wanted to take a picture with him, he was fine with it, but he wouldn't let us take a picture with him with the other cigar in the picture.
Because it wasn't a government product.
Because it wasn't a government product.
Well, and what's scary with it is you really see in these moments where these people, you think, oh yeah, they're going. We've spent the last year seeing protests and everything, and when they get violent and they turn into riots, then police come in and knock it down. But every single person that speaks out about the government down there would face prison time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not just you're trying for your people.
No, you go to. They
prison
take
now.
you to prison.
And
There's
you have
no
thousands of people there that at any given point, it's like fish and minnows. Cop could grab you, you go to prison, you don't see your family again.
Yeah.
All that's happening. And this is an important, we haven't been huge supporters of Cuba, the Cuban product, predominantly just from a quality standpoint and that, but I think it's important for us to stick together right now, because that is the creation of all cigars.
Well, it is. I mean,
Imagine how many people. I mean, could we say over 1 billion people that have been joined together in the sharing of cigars?
Oh, sure.
And it all started there.
Yeah.
I mean, how many problems have been solved? How many millions of lives have been saved because of a cigar?
Yeah.
Because these people started it.
Yeah.
It's a heavy.
That's a good way to look at it for sure.
yeah. I think it's sad. I guess it's inspirational. They want what we have and they're fighting for it. I have a feeling there's going to be a point where they're going to be going, okay, that's enough. Load the guns.
Mow them down.
And just start mowing them down. And that'll be sad. The question is
What do we do?
Will anybody? Who are their allies?
Well,
Russia, Venezuela. I think Adrian's got more bullets than Venezuela has.
Yeah.
And
speaking of, I gotta pay Dave Wagner.
Bam.
Yeah, I gotta pay Dave. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah, I think I have more bullets. I think our location right now has more bullets in it than Venezuela. But
Country, yeah.
it's scary stuff because this could potentially be World War III type of stuff. They're allies, the communists versus the...
Yeah, I mean, if Russia comes to who knows? I mean, that's the issue. It's going to be communists that come rushing to their side, and then what? Is anybody going to take them on?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's unfortunate. It's something definitely to watch. But
so there is a lot going on, and as we spoke about this, there's a lot going on here. Chris Coulter, Larry, how dare all of you start talking about how my locker has the Gurkhas in it? How dare all of you? I'm talking to you. Well, some Gurkhas waiting for you. I'm going to switch out that mystery box with a bunch of mystery Gurkhas for you there, Larry Adams.
I will tell you, though, Gurkha had a very, very large booth. Plenty of room for activities in that booth. And I ran into our friends that are opening a shop up in Paris, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky's. And they had just walked out of the booth. And they're like, are they really so strong that they can be assholes to us? And I went, I don't know. And he's like, it just doesn't seem that they're really busy, but yet they're acting like they're the only ones that sell cigars. And I thought, well, that's interesting.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Those who are watching, thank you for taking the time to join us. What's up, Cigars and Guns? If you have questions, please fire them out. Don't be happy to run through.
Most of the questions on my page were, where are the guns?
Where are the guns?
Join us tomorrow. We have Gun Talk tomorrow. Today's Cigar Talk.
I will say this, there was some product that I was very excited to see. There was a lot of limited edition product that we're going to start seeing August up through October. Tatuaje showed a package called the Monster Mash I'm really excited about. It is 13... It's the Monster series, all in Lanceros. It comes in kind of a coffin, and it will have a 13th Lancero that's never been available. So that's one package. We'll have a slug of those. One that I thought was really cool is called the Tatuaje Christmas package, and it's in a box about this big. It's seen
as a Grand Habano.
The box has a cool graphic on it. But it's the little calendars that you open up and it has a chocolate.
Oh,
this has a cigar for every day.
Oh,
that's
really so it's 25 days of cigars.
Yep.
And it's going to be about a $200 package, which would be kind of cool.
What is that calendar called? Someone help us out. What is the Christmas?
What is the little Christmas calendar called?
Advent calendar.
That's it. Yeah. So it's the 25 days of Christmas, and it'll have 25 cigars in the box.
I'm curious because
one for every day.
Begley got me that with all German beer.
Yeah.
And Ali and I deconstructed the whole box and like, how do we do this? Because we got to do it for cigars. So good on you, Pete Johnson, for beating us to that because we've been working on design.
Yeah. So that was cool. Crown Head showed a new line called CHC Series E. Smoked it. It's really good. It looks. The way it's packaged, everything looks like it's very good. So I'm excited about that. It's done by Pichardo. I met with Luciano again, and he came in with a cigar called the Fiat. It's called the Fiat Lux. More of a medium-bodied cigar. Beautiful cigar, 4 sizes. Really excited about that. There was Crown Heads will have no broadleaf this year, so they're going to do a Lonsdale in a broadleaf, and the only people that could buy it were the guys that were at the show, and they're going to build to that number. So that will be kind of an October cigar, but it'll be the only. So there will be no Yellow Rose of Texas. There will be no Tennessee Waltz. The stuff that has broadleaf, there will be none coming from Crown Heads.
Big question coming in from Jim Trader. As we know, he has surgeries next week. Which he's going to stick it to the surgeries there, and the drug they put him on is ketamine, PCP. Okay. So he wants to know what stick pairs with ketamine. He said, "Come on, you lived in the '60s and '70s. What pairs with ketamine would you say?"
Well, I was more of an angel dust guy. Yeah, so, and I found that really paired well, but I snorted a lot of glue back in the day, so my nostrils were kind of burned up. My palate's really, it's taken a while for it to come back.
Yeah.
But angel dust was more my jam because I like to dance.
Yeah, and might I recommend the Jacob's Ladder Presidente? For anyone that wants to smoke 9.5 inches of a
I was going
Presidente.
to say it's acid.
Ooh, acid.
Nice.
I mean,
Drop some acid.
Yeah.
and smoking acid.
And smoking acid. Yeah. No, that was so there was a couple cool limited edition cigars that we will have in the shop. Excited about that. Jake Wyatt showed a sampler of 5 Lanceros.
The gourmet line.
And it looks yummy. So
And
really
it's
excited
cool.
about that.
They've actually expanded that lithium. That I know we've all smoked the lithium. Well, they've expanded that to 5 sizes.
Oh,
So they have a Moreva, they've got a Lonsdale, they've got a Bellicoso with a 109 cap. People would know a 109 cap with a Marblehead.
Yeah.
So they've got a Marblehead, a Toro. They're good.
Now, I'll tell you, there are 2 cigars I'm really excited about. We'll have them very, very, very shortly. Based on the success, particularly we had of the Mia Diaz Double Corona, we sold 19 boxes in one day. The Crux Bull and Bear Double Corona.
Oh, shit.
That cigar is going to be spectacular.
I haven't even
And
seen it.
the other one I'm really excited about because I just love the Vitola is the Crux PB5 Short Salamone.
That's a Cuban box press short Salomon.
Cuban box. It is sexy, and I cannot wait for that cigar. The Dew Connoisseur, by the way, I went ahead and added the other facings.
Good.
So we'll have all 4 facings of that.
The
That
short
cigar
Lancero, the
is
Panatella.
cigar is really good.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't smoked the new Dew Connoisseur,
Oh, it's excellent.
smoke it. And if you're not here, go on e-commerce and buy it because, they are, to me, I don't know if it is for you, but that Lancero reminds me a lot of like the 1880 Lancero.
Yeah.
Just a little
It
bit more
does.
floral, more cedar.
Right. I would say a lighter version of the
Yeah.
Lancero.
Yeah.
I think more people would enjoy that cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
it's really good.
It's good. My brother smoked the number 4 today, which is what would you call that?
It's a Corona Gorda. It's a Corona Gorda.
And that's got some beef on it. And
Aside from the production houses, the printers, absolutely screwing up our designs on that. Pretty excited with how that came out.
Scar, the
the
label
band
itself, the band itself is beautiful.
Why would they think?
Okay.
It's been selling pretty good.
Oh, it's been selling great. I mean, the cigar is awesome.
Yeah.
The cigar is it's stellar.
Yeah, but they didn't let these guys do the press check, and that was a mistake.
Actually, honestly, in the past 2 weeks, I've been going back and forth between that and the different Bocock.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't done the Bocock Brothers stuff, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Those are up as well.
In our last show, we did the Arrival. We did Ken Hamlin's cigar, and we smoked that. And I think for where he's at in that whole process, that development process, I think as long as he has an opportunity for us feedback before he jumps in the deep end.
I just want to know, Ken, are you still watching? If you are, just sound off because I want to say something. But I agree.
Going back to Crux real quick, I saw that they won Best Show.
Yes,
Best in
their
show.
booth was best in show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Right now, the industry is fun to be in. If you're smoking cigars, awesome. If cigars, get them into it because there's a lot of really good cigars that are making its way to market. Chris Coulter's going in. We should do our own advent calendar. If we can figure out this design and the production, we'll do it for sure.
That would be cool to be able to do an ICC version.
Yeah.
That'd be really
You
cool.
could. That's how we could do our top 25 of 2021.
Yeah.
If we just did the top 25 that we released December 1, and we had an advent calendar, I'll get to that and continue working on it because we sidelined it for a little bit with production being difficult. But I completely agree.
Julie Adams, she will be here at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her
Fantastic.
and her husband Larry.
Her and Larry.
Yep.
Real excited. Petoro is releasing the Exo Robusto. which you got a box of those and brought those back that time.
Yep.
That thing is going to be so freaking good.
So get ready. For those of you who haven't smoked Patoro, get ready to smoke it because I've been in communication with Pablo.
Right.
And if you don't know, Pablo's one of the two owners. It's Patrick Martin and Pablo Schneider, or Pablo Richard. But those two guys, I learned this because I was calling him Schneider.
Yeah.
And what I realized was that's their old money name. And he doesn't, I think there's some turmoil in that family and he doesn't go by it.
Gotcha.
So Pablo is, he has a watch company called Cyrus, and they make $500,000 watches.
Yeah.
Well, they are now a key sponsor for the Haas F1 team.
Okay.
F1 is in Austin in October. So I'm working up a program right now where Pablo may be able to get us some tickets. They might be GA tickets or whatever, but we'll have tickets.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, paddock. And that would change your fucking life.
It will. If you're in the paddock at the F1 race.
And you're looking over, watching them change. It'll change your life. Drinking cappuccino. Oh, was that the coolest thing ever? We were sitting next to Michael Schumacher. The whole thing. Okay,
I was on the opposite side of that. Not as cool, but still.
So what we're working out is this program where we're going to do a scored system based on Patoros and that. And ultimately, the winner of that, we did that similar where you would go out to dinner with Pablo. Well, you'll go to the F1 race. So you'll win tickets for this. So look for that to drop probably mid-August, and that race is in October. So we'll basically tally up. Yeah, nothing but Toro. And so we're looking at that. Coda and Cigars, Sean Rats, you already know you're in. But look for that because that's going to be a really unique thing to be able to smoke the Toro, go watch the F1 race. And if you haven't watched F1, you're not watching the season, shame on you because this is probably the best season in recent history. But imagine that, just going, smoking a Toro and watching F1 at Circuit of the Americas. It'll change your life.
Two cool accessories.
Okay.
Humidification. So there's a company called Integra. So we all use Boveda packs. We've all used them for years. Little did we know, the only thing that Boveda is actually authorized to be put in is cigars, guitar cases, and hemp.
Yeah.
You can't. It actually doesn't pass the FDA and the CDC to be able to put that into food products or medical products. So the reason for that is because of it actually has a salt base. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I did not know about Boveda is as that cigar dries and it's humidified the cigars, it's actually impregnating the cigars with a salty finish. It actually changes the flavor.
Interesting.
So there's this company called Integra that got a huge influx of cash because lo and behold, their item, their humidity pack is two-way humidification, and it can be put in. It uses a different chemical inside of it that gradually dies. It doesn't just turn into a cracker after 30 days. It will gradually fade, but it uses a glycol material that's inside of it, so it will last a little bit longer. They have the big 320, which is 6 Boveda packs, or in a sense 6 regular Boveda packs, so if you want to put it in a larger humidor, and a 420. And then they have these packs, but in the pack it also comes with a small sensor that you put in your humidor, and when that turns blue, it's time to pull that out and put a new one in.
So when you're acrylic, you could just stand that up.
Stand it up, and you'll see it. And you'll see it on the edge. So it's the same price. Actually, the larger packs are much lower price, but these are the same price. It adds no flavor. It has kind of a different feel to the packet. It almost feels plastic, or like rubbery. But it is. I was really impressed with it. Very excited to do that. The other one is this little device, and a lot of people have seen it. We're going to sell these.
We're going to pass.
This is called the Cigar Medic, and it's got 2 little prongs inside of it, and you push the button, and it looks like we used to eat corn on the cob.
Does it change the humidity when I smoke it?
I saw that. and I've seen that on social media.
So what's interesting now, we're hitting 80% humidity.
Because it's heating up in the oil.
So one of the things that, if you have a cigar, he said ideally,
What's that?
Do that.
ideally a cigar, this one is 71. So what,
Perfect, yeah.
but what he said that if a cigar is 70, 71, it's actually still a little wet. So if you've ever felt a cigar below the burn line get very, very, probably high humidity.
82.
Yeah, because that's, and it's going to be wet there. But if you've ever felt a cigar that got really soft and hot, what's happening is behind the flame, it's actually steam. That because it's too humid, it's steaming up. So the optimal rate would be about 62 to start your cigar.
Oh,
and then
wow.
as it heats up, it will actually work its way up to 70.
So
if you start at 70, we're seeing 82 at the foot. So you're actually getting higher humidity, and you'll get a more wet, more bitter impact to your palate. So it's very interesting, and it actually there's a little device that comes with it or a little device that we'll be able to sell that you'll touch it to, and it'll recalibrate it. So if the calibration ever goes out. But it's a way for you to just slide it in there and find out. Now this was 72 when I first tested it.
Yeah.
So as we smoked this, I would suspect that this would probably get a little soft and steam up. But he was saying, ideally 60 to 65 out of the gate is perfect, and then work your way up. Which makes me start thinking about,
should we drop our humidor?
that's what I'm thinking.
Well, and I mean, I usually like to keep mine somewhere between that 67 to 72, but now do I need to drop that?
Right.
Down to 65?
And I would say if you notice that your cigars are getting wet, but a lot of people, I always thought that it was loose, that the tobacco was not packed real tight.
Yeah.
But, and I guess if it's loose, it's going to create an opportunity for more steam behind it than if the thing's packed really tight like an anime. Because this, I'm on a buyer and I'm holding right below the burn line, and it doesn't burn.
So what I recommend we do is let's figure out how long a cigar can stay out of the humidor. So let's take one, hit it every day, and see
How long
from
it
72 to how long it takes until it gets to that 58. And then we could have a really clear idea of how long cigars can be out of the humidor.
What this is actually doing is it's going in. We talked to the inventor, and what it's doing is it's actually sending an electric shock between the two probes, and then it's converting. If the wetter it is, the faster that's going to transmit through there.
Yeah.
So, and then it does the calculation and converts that to a percentage of humidity based on an electrical signal.
How much is one of
They're
these?
going to be I think they're like $30.
Oh,
Man.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So it's kind of a cool little device. I've been carrying it in my pocket.
It's
And,
gotta be $60, bitch.
but we ordered them, and they got my card while they were at the show. So we'll
Take
have it in a
the
week.
floor model reminds me.
The Integrators, I've been using these, and the issue I had, and maybe this is all surprising to me, but my humidors will not reach, because the ones I had were all 62, but my humidor would not reach 70 because they were rated at 62.
Well, there's still two-way humidification, so it's going to, if the humidity's at 70, it's going to pull it down to 62.
Yeah.
So it's not going to allow it to go above that max. It's going to pull humidity out.
This could change everything. For us, the way we look at it, 70 and 70, we always thought it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, for Doug, I'm just going to stick one in Doug's locker because he's got the refrigerator out of his fishing lodge and all the other stuff. So I think it's just, to me, it's a scientific way to see what works best for you. I think it'll be kind of an interesting little tool.
I think you're right. I'm really looking forward to see how that changes, how that gets to everything.
And I ordered like 20 of them, so we'll get those in. I think we throw them on the web, and these guys, they showed me some other little devices that the guy's just like this inventor guy. And
Coulter said he's had his for over a year and it works great.
Yeah, and he says best advice is to replace alkaline batteries with silver ox 357 batteries.
yeah, it's like a watch battery that's in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
And you know what? There were a couple manufacturers that were having this communication where they were actually blaming Bogota because Bogota has trained people to think that 70% is where we need to be. And I always, in all honesty, I sat on Bogota's side of things because that's where I thought I liked mine, but I'm going to start trying to bring mine down a little bit. Yeah. And what I've noticed is if I leave a cigar in my car and I fire it up after a few days, smokes fine.
Yeah.
So maybe that's pulling it to where it needs to be.
I actually, if you go look at I put new humidifiers in my home humidor, and I actually have it set at 62. And the reason I have it set at 62 is because if I smoke a cigar at the house, I'm smoking it outside. And with this humidity, the environment that I'm in, it's going to be hot outside, and there's going to be humidity, so it's going to naturally pull that up. But I have yet to have a cigar that I've had pop on me or any of the things that you have when humidity's not right. But I've got my house humidor set at 62, 63.
This would be a cool video for us to do where all of us can sit around, and I'll take the house stick, and we could do maybe 5 different house sticks. One that's fresh out of the humidor at 72, and we can work our way down and see which one we like most. And we can kind of pass those around.
One that's been out for 2 days.
One that's been for a week, and I'll just track it, and that way we can see where it currently is. So maybe next week we can try that.
Doug has experimented a lot, and to a point where he's taken cigars out and set them on top in the humidor here, set them on top of his acrylic in an environment where it's not getting a ton of humidity, and just let those kind of dry out a little bit. So I think it'll be an interesting experience. I don't know how crazy. I just think it's kind of a unique way versus just guessing.
Well, and you talk about Bovita's trained people that way. It was funny because a little off topic, but similar to that. I just read an article yesterday how is 10,000 steps a day really the optimal thing, and how back when the Olympics were going to be over in Japan in the 60s, it was really just 10,000 sounds like a good round number, and it was a way to get the people out and active. And actually the number is a lot less than that. Studies have been done that it's been a lot less than that. And of course it depends on, the diet you're eating and the age you are and stuff like that. But 10,000 is a lot more than you really need. And it's just funny that 70 is a lot more than what you really need your cigar to be too.
I blame the marketers.
Yeah.
Always.
Fucking Apple.
It's Apple's fault.
This thing tells me I should be walking 10,000 steps.
Oh, you got some blue-haired person telling you you're not walking enough. Yeah.
Well, I walked.
What's up, Jim Cook?
11,000 steps the first day of the show, and that was much more than I needed. I can tell you
that night after we walked the show at TPE, walked the show, went to dinner, then walked around the strip, and then got up and did it again. I think that 24-hour span, I did like 24,000 steps.
Yeah.
That's great. It was like hurting in my hips and stuff. Well, I don't know. Well, I think that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool show. It's fun to see that. I mean, nobody's talking about business being down, and that's good. And there's a lot of new cigars, and we got new owners that are out there that are so excited about their lines. And the guys that just sit in booths and take orders, they're still just sitting in booths and take orders.
They're going to be done.
And they're just
They're going to die. The people who are going to normal cigar lounges and smoking normal stuff, I think it's going to die. They're going to have to reinvent themselves when their cigars go away.
Yeah.
The Padrones will always be there. Some of these guys, Fuentes, will still be there.
Yeah.
But these brands who are just thinking that they're the greatest thing ever, they're going to die. It's going to be tough. And then here's industrial over the next 10 years and where we're going to be, and where these lines that we've helped establish in this market, they're going to be here.
It's amazing. I had on the first day 3 different guys that knew us because of the show. It's amazing how many people watch this show, and watch Saturday at the shop. But guys were walking up going, "Hey man, I got a cigar line. I'm gonna send you some samples. I know who you guys are. I'm gonna send you some samples because they know that we've taken some lines that are not known, but know that we've done a good job. What they have to understand is the reason that a line like Principal has done really well here is because it's really good.
It's really good.
You know,
It's a
so
good quality
if
cigar.
you're, you can't just go to a factory and say, give me 3 of those and 3 of those and throw them in a box and call it a line.
Yeah. Jerry Bond is coming in. Have you guys seen the Vault Tech Life Pod Humidor? Yes, we have.
We have sold them.
We all have.
Yep.
Yeah. You have one?
I've got one.
You like it? You guys like yours?
They're coming out with a new one that will accommodate longer cigars. That was kind of
that was the only
issue. It held a Toro, but a Lancero wouldn't fit.
Right.
Churchill wouldn't fit.
My challenge with it is it's still only 5 cigars.
There's a company, for the name escapes me, but he makes the inserts.
And those guys and Vault Tech actually connects you with that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like a $30 insert. But I think what you're going to start seeing is the Vault Tech is metal, and you're going to see them incorporate an insert for the Vault Techs that are for guns that are all different colors and camo and all that stuff, and have an insert for those, and hit a much different price point. I think when it came out at $449, something like that, it was a little crack induced. I think it's at $199. That's what it is.
All the gun dudes were like, "That's a great idea, I love it," but I paid $199 for my gun safe.
Yeah. Right. Just give me the insert.
Project Carbon is that company.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I talked to the guys and they have other stuff, but then that's an insert that they make, and it's like $35.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, the Vault Tech is. I mean, you could that thing can fall off the roof of your car at 100 miles an hour, and your cigars aren't going to even.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. So, for those who joined us tonight, thank you so much. Great traction. Love seeing everybody getting together. Man, thank you for everyone for helping us.
And thank you guys. I mean, it was a tremendous eye opener at the show to have people walk up. Smokini that came up to me and just said,
That's awesome.
Can I get my picture today? I comment on your show all the time.
Which is always, she's walking around and everyone's like, hey, can I get a photo?
Yeah. And what was funny was to have like the vice president of Placencia come running up to me and just, I would introduce myself. I said, I'm Dave. No, I watch you guys' show every Saturday. And I'm like, do you live in Miami? He's like, no, I'm in Nicaragua. So these guys are watching it, all over the place. And it's just,
that's great.
It's really cool. And the vendors that we were talking to, like at Padron and some of those, when they're explaining to George Padron, these guys do a show every Saturday and blah, 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 blah. So it was, it's cool. And it's the fact that you guys are here and you're supporting us.
Yeah.
And it just, we're all in this journey together.
I mean, truly. And as we start thinking through what that next phase looks like, it's going to be bigger.
Yep.
It's going to be a little bit more dream to this. But just rest assured, we're going to have new people. But like Sean Ratt said, our shared purpose is the first thing our team sees when we come in.
Yep.
We create community by providing the finest cigar lounge experience for people of all levels.
Right.
Everyone knows that. And we're going to grow, and we're probably going to lose people because we're this small little, diamond in the rough, and we're going to get to a different level. But I just want you all to know, including you, Joe Akers, you guys are part of something that may just be this small little deal, but in this industry, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And this industry is very important to people's lives.
The amount of vendor principles that we're saying, you guys do it right. Was it happened every day. That was special. I think I thought a lot about the idea we had prior to us leaving for the show, and the more I thought about that, it makes a lot of sense. So there may be some even more exciting stuff that's coming down the road.
And just to think that this journey that we're on started in your backyard.
Started in the backyard.
And you guys have been here since the very beginning. I remember meeting you at Cigars 101.
And you brought a guest against the glass.
Yep, you brought a guest, so you're like, hey, I brought a guest, so I get a cigar? Hell yeah, you get a cigar. I'll never forget that. And then you fast forward that. The people who are watching, the people who are sitting by our side, this is what living the dream looks like. I hope everyone understands that.
Yeah.
I get caught up in this whirlwind often, and absolutely exceptional. The best days of my life are because of everyone here.
Sean says, no, we'll got more family. We'll gain more family.
Exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right.
You know, that's, and I think it's a special time, and we're doing something very unique. And as one of the manufacturers put it, and this was a very well-respected brand owner that just said, the difference between what you guys are doing and what other guys are doing is they would like to do what you're doing, but they just don't want to.
They don't want to do it.
They just don't have the drive to do it. They may do it for a weekend, but then they'll go, God damn, that's a lot of work.
You guys make it look easy, but there is a ton of behind the scenes work and amount of detail that you guys put into everything that goes on. But you and the team make it look so easy.
Yeah, we bust our ass, and you bust your ass, and we all are here. I mean, truly, it's we're not going to stop. So to me, it's great. I know our competition. I know what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do.
Yeah.
We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And there's a place for everyone in this, especially in this market. They can go. There are options. You find your best option.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, the conversations we have behind closed doors. I wish everyone who's watching could see those, because it's real. And I wish people could hear the content of our conversations, because it's for you guys. It's for all of you, and it's
we have never, and this I promise everybody, we have never had a conversation that stemmed around, if we do this, do you know how much money we would make? No. It's never, ever about the money. And I think that's where some people look at this and go, why put in that effort if I'm not going to make any more money? Look, what we have is people that just don't leave. You know, it's just the reason we've had a waiting list for the private lounge since 2018, because nobody leaves.
Yeah,
I mean, they just don't leave.
Yep.
So, and look, we're the ones that are humble. We thank everybody, but it's been a fun ride. It's almost 4 years.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Larry Adams, I'm doing my share in expanding the family. Yeah, you're right. Don't marry Mexican. Jesus. Yeah.
Today I came downstairs and your lovely wife was at the counter, and Alessia was, running around, and Elias was screaming at a level that most of the glass in our curio cabinet was rattling like it was on the verge of breaking. And my first comment to her was, have more kids.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of like, no more.
Yeah.
If she does your laundry, she gets pregnant.
I'm moving out. You got space in your house?
I got extra space.
Okay, cool. I'm moving in.
Yeah.
Moving in. So with that, everyone, thank you so much for being a part of this. It's a beautiful thing, and we share it all with you. And our success is your success.
Yeah. Come in. If you like cars, come down Saturday. Sean Ratz, bring that 928 out.
Saturday.
Saturday.
And if you have a show car, register it on Park Up Front. Go in there quick.
Spots
Sean,
quick.
please bring it, because I'll bring my 928. Get Mark to come up here as well. Level 928.